I'm all by myself tonight. My dad is at home. My daughter went with him. Emily went back home. Kimmer went back home. And there's something I really wanted to talk about that I've been saving, which is when there's an emergency, a grief-stricken emergency of some kind. When there's goodness knows what it is. For me, perhaps it was my miscarriages, but for others, it could be something more severe, a death of an adult in their family, or something bad that happens, like the Boston bombings that affect somebody. There's this initial rush of people who come in to help. They send flowers or make dinners, and there's this initial rush. And what I wanted to make sure that people understand is it's not long enough. Doesn't mean that people need comfort in their grief every second. But I think the best example is um, a dear friend of mine who died. It's been 3.5 years, and her parents are still actively grief stricken, like as though it happened much more recently. And there's no time frame. There's no time frame that people need to adhere to in their grief. But people forget. They forget. It becomes, for lack of a better way to express it, becomes unfashionable somehow. It becomes not front of their mind to keep contacting them. At first, people wrote these parents letters. Oh gosh, your daughter was so important to us. Nothing now. Nothing now. Everybody's gone on with their lives, which is normal. We all should go on with their lives. We can't all sit around rehashing everything that we all might be grieving over. But I think this was driven home to me when I saw a friend of mine is raising money for a little boy who was injured in the Boston bombings. And last weekend it was like tremendous. Everybody had opening their wallets and their hearts and participating, and it's dying off. And he's still there. And he still needs help. There's there's an initial burst of energy when I referred to it before when I first had a baby. There's this initial burst of energy, the gifts, the excitement surrounding that. And when it dies down, that is when the good friends move in. That is when the people who uh, are the true heroes stick around. The people who stay with the grieving people, the people who are in trouble, stay with them past the point that everybody else is there. That I had a friend who told me that one of the most valuable things that happened to her in her daughter's infancy was when people stuck around. They didn't just come and for one time, oh, the baby's so cute, psh, I'm out. Your baby cries a lot. That baby cried a lot. It's when people stuck around, when they came back, despite the fact that that baby cried a lot, again and again and again, week after week, even though it wasn't cool anymore, even though it wasn't the front of everybody's mind. So if there's somebody in your life that has experienced something bad or cataclysmic in some way, it's never not on their minds. And even if it's a year later, talking about it and holding their hand is so incredibly meaningful, and I would argue more meaningful than people who are dealing with the initial shock of it. All right, thanks. Good night.